Hey folks, it's me. I hope that you're doing well, and that you're having a good long weekend. I think like celebrating Independence Day is sort of has felt contentious. I don't know this year, um, and so whatever you're doing, whatever however you choose to celebrate or whatever, or not, I hope you're having a good long weekend in any case, and I wanted to say thanks for last week. I read about this in the update to the or whatever it's called, the announcement. But I just want to say thank you for last week. I mean it when I say that um, I had sort of felt like maybe all of us did, like I had lost a lot of hope over the past couple of weeks. Like it feels like the tides are shifting in ways that um, are really insidious and evil and feel somewhat irreversible in a lot of ways right now. But I read your work and saw your responses to one another and just felt a sense of hope and of levity that I haven't over the past couple of weeks. Um, I've been so pissed, so incensed, like we all have, I think. And anyway, you just brought a sense of hope to me. So thank you, genuinely for all of your hard work last week and your wonderful thoughts. Your perspective, of course, is so important, the most important, and to hear it from the mouth of those whom it affects most and for whom it's most important was really enlightening. So thank you. This week we're shifting gears. I don't know. I guess 40 years in the future, maybe 50, sort of, um, to the March on Washington, the 1963 March on Washington for jobs and freedom. This happened August 28th of that year. So this is the very famous demonstration of over 200,000 folks on Washington that was largely peaceful and, of course, met with um, sort of. Sorry, there's like a giant truck that just went by. Of course, met with a sort of hellish response from a lot of people. But I think what we remember about it that's kind of beautiful is the immediate, actionable legislation that came out of it. Um, it wasn't long after the march that Dr. King and other civil rights activists met directly with President Kennedy and Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson. Um, and that set in motion the Civil Rights Act and then the Voting Rights Act the year after that. These are direct legislative responses from a peaceful, organized protest of civil rights advocates and activists. Um, it's sort of a beautiful moment in history, and turned the tides, like it completely shifted things for us as a culture. Um, and I'll say it in the announcement too, and said it in the assignment description as well at the very bottom of it, I think. But it sort of has me begging the question of like, why can't we seem to do this now? Like, why? Protests have always been met with the adversarial, with the contrarians, with the assholes who push back against what's right because I don't know, they're because they're terrible people or something. It's inexplicable to those of us who are moral people, I think. But it feels like now more than ever, those most adversarial, or maybe not more than ever, but at least as much as ever, those most adversarial and most contrary and most interested in getting in the way of progress, civil rights progress, are loud. They are the loudest voices we're hearing, and it sucks, and it makes me wonder why we can't organize in this way anymore. Why we can't have action through peaceable means anymore, peaceful means. It's frustrating. I think it's frustrating for a lot of us. Like what is happening right now does feel sort of irreversible, or at least it's not reversible without some kind of direct action in our country. Um, and it just feels like more and more frightening that peace seems to be off the table, doesn't it? Like no one's listening through conversation, or it feels like more drastic action or something uh, is like coming down the pipeline, and if that's not scary, I'm not sure what is. but something needs to happen. And I just wonder why we've fallen so far from the ability to listen to one another, and like love one another and lift one another up. These are the core questions I want us to be focusing on throughout this course, but I think especially this week. Um, it feels like a protest like the March on Washington couldn't happen today, or at least that if it did, not so much would come out of it. Um, and so I want us to wrestle with those questions this week in particular. Why does it feel that way? And maybe it doesn't for you, and I hope that it doesn't. I hope that you've got more hope than I do, or something. Um, but if you are in my camp, if you do feel this way, why is it? What's created this sense of despondency and despair in our culture, the sense of hopelessness that I think many of us are feeling. Anyway, so there's some light for you on this holiday morning. That's what we'll be wrestling with this week. You're going to respond to one of them is kind of like last week. It's sort of just like an objective look at what happened. One of them is another retrospective piece, less statistical and more, um, uh, pathological, like a little bit more pathos, a little bit more emotional. Um, and then the other small thing I've included in that bit of your assignment is like a digital scan of the original pamphlet that got sent out um, during the March on Washington, which I think is really cool to look at. You can see their specific 10 demands. It shows like the structure of the day, those who spoke, things like that. It's really pretty cool to look at. And then, okay, so that's your stuff that's due by Wednesday for the discussion. And then for Friday, your media response, it's not a film or a podcast or anything. I'm going to have you look at a photo series. It's like a photo and mini essay series that Gordon Parks created in 1967. Gordon Parks is maybe the most important photographer you've never heard of, or if you have heard of him, awesome, you rock. He photographed mostly black culture um, throughout the 20th century, throughout his the bulk of his work in the late 20th century, and brought a lot of light to like minority struggle and the conversation that was being had around it, or the lack of conversation that was being had around it. He sort of photographed like families in their conditions and then wrote about it. Life featured this piece back in the day, and now his work is exhibited all over the world. A really important artist of the time that brought on a lot of change through his social activism. But he did, his social activism was art, and sort of a good look into what I want you to be doing for your project for this course. And that brings me to the last thing I kind of want to say. I've posted the assignment description and the assignment for the initial proposal of your final project for this course, which we'll be tackling over the next, our last final weeks. Basically, you are going to create some kind of an artistic reactionary project in your own authentic voice that speaks to something you think needs to change. This is going to be your own form of protest through a piece of, it could be anything. Writing, photography, filmmaking. I've had people last semester, was it? Or whenever, I don't know. Someone made a whole album of music. It was really cool in reaction to a pretty powerful topic. And if you'd rather write like an essay, if that's more comfortable for you, if that's more in your wheelhouse, then that's okay too. Like nonfiction writing is totally an option for this. But in any case, you're going to pick something you feel passionately about, something you think needs to change, and you're going to make your voice heard through artistic, creative approach. So, like the films we've watched, the podcasts we listen to, the photo series we're about to take a look at, the writings that we've read, all of these things, which in their own ways are trying to say something either implicitly or explicitly about a topic that needs to be addressed. That's what we're going to do over the course of the next few weeks. So you can, I posted the assignment description. You can take a look at it. It's linked as a PDF in this week's assignment at the bottom. So take a look at that, see what I'm asking of you. And for this week, you're just creating like I said, a proposal. Just even like a paragraph is fine. Whatever. It's not. It's pretty informal. Just tell me what the topic is you want to tackle, what you think you might want to do, like what form your project will take, and then why you think that form is most effective for saying the thing that you want to say. And then at the end, that's due on Friday, and before next week, I'll comment on either approval or denial of your project. Um, Chances are I'm going to approve it. I might approve it with like some suggested modifications, and if I outright say you can't do it, it will only ever be because I don't think it's like achievable in that length of time, or if you tell me you want to do like one stick figure drawing, I'll probably tell you that's not good enough, or so like it wouldn't take 3 or 4 weeks to do that. Those are the only situations where I'm going to deny it, though. Chances are I'm going to approve it. So come up with your proposal for the end of the week. Respond to Gordon Parks's series, his photo series, which is like so beautifully laid out. I think you'll like it. It's really cool. And then respond to those couple of articles for Wednesday, and remember to respond to one another as well before Friday. And that's it for this week. I always think these videos are going to be like 4 minutes, and then they're like they're like 15, and I'm really sorry. Anyway, email me with questions, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Thanks, seriously. You all are doing such cool work in this course, and I feel really privileged and honored to be a part of it. So thanks, and we'll talk soon. Okay, take care.